Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at the May last selection box. You have until May 22nd, until end of day, to collect 12 of these Tsums. Now, you don't have to collect them. It's really up to you if you want to get them or not. There are some good Tsums in here, and right now they are promoting Dancing Genie, Brave Goofy, and Officer Judy. There's also Forky, MU Mike, Felix Jr, Merida, Flynn Rider, Fairy Godmother, King Triton, Blue Fairy, and Clarice. And in this video, I'm going to show you each and one of them so that way you could make a determination if you want to get them or not. I've already got 5 of them maxed out, so there are some that I don't have maxed out yet, but honestly I think I'm going to save my coin for next month because next month there are going to be new Tsums, so I'm just going to prepare for that. But anyways, let's jump right into it and take a look at the very first one. The first one, we have Dancing Genie. Now this is pretty much Will Smith. Every time I look at this Tsum, I automatically think about Will Smith, especially during the animation when it happens. I swear that is pretty much Will Smith right there. But anyways, the description for Dancing Genie is that a big Prince Ali that you can connect with Dancing Genie appears, clear surrounding Tsums when connected. So ultimately what happens is during the animation, Dancing Genie will dance around, of course, and then you can connect Will Smith and Ali and all those other Tsums together to create a really long chain. Now Dancing Genie right now, the game that you're watching right now is skill level 5, and I have him at a pretty low level, but Dancing Genie is pretty good for getting coins. So if you do want a Tsum this month in the selection box to earn coins, then Dancing Genie is one of them. I think that for this month, in the promo, they have Dancing Genie, Brave Goofy, and Officer Judy. All 3 of these are really good. There is one hidden surprise though, which we'll get to towards the end of the video, but Dancing Genie is actually one of the good ones. So there are, I would say, about 4 good Tsums in here that are worth getting, maybe even 5. Yeah, I think there's about 5, maybe 6, but we'll count them at the end. Dancing Genie is one of the ones. I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the very end here just to show you what I ended up with on the coins perspective. Now at the end here, I did end up with 3,379 coins. I am playing with the 5 for 1 for all of these games with the coin boost, so my initial investment is 2,300. So Dancing Genie does exceed that threshold, so I'm going to consider Dancing Genie an effective coin earner. Then next we have Brave Goofy. So Brave Goofy is one of the 3 that was in the promo. I also have Brave Goofy at skill level 5, and the description for Brave Goofy is that he clears random Tsum Tsums in one go. And I really like these type of abilities because during these random clears, Brave Goofy's skill does not freeze the screen, and what that means essentially is when the ability happens, it just consistently drops Tsums from the top. And the reason why I like it is that you don't really have to plan for anything. You don't have to necessarily make sure that there's Tsums on the left, right, top, bottom, whatever. As soon as the ability bar fully charges, you just activate the ability and it clears a bunch of Tsums. And the good thing about Brave Goofy is that during the animation, all the Brave Goofies that you clear will add to the charge bar. There are some Tsums where during the animation, the My Tsums that you collect do not add to the skills charge up. But in Brave Goofy's case, that during the animation, all the Brave Goofies that it clears will go to the charge up bar. So the higher the skill level, the more Tsums you clear, which means the easier it is for you to activate the ability. I don't have him maxed out, but I bet if I did, I would get some back-to-back abilities that take place. Now I do have him on with the 5-4 on and playing with the coin boost, so we'll skip to the end here and just take a look at his coin earning potential. So in the end, for Brave Goofy at skill level 5, I got 2,603 coins, which is over the 2,300 coin threshold, which I would consider Brave Goofy an effective coin earner. So if you want one that's fun, easy to use, and you could just keep playing during the animation, or maybe you take your eyes off and just spam the ability, Brave Goofy is one of the ones that you can get. Even at skill level 4, he becomes pretty good. So, but I have him at skill level 5, and I just really enjoy using Brave Goofy. The third Tsum we're going to cover here is Officer Judy. Officer Judy, I have her at skill level 3, skill range is medium, and the ability for Officer Judy is that clears all the Tsums in the middle. So this part gets a little bit tricky because you need to make sure that there are Tsums in the middle of the section, And during the ability or during the skill, the screen does freeze. So if you don't have any zooms in the middle of the screen, then your ability will clear a bunch of nothing. And I actually did it in one of these abilities here, so you might just pay close attention of how I messed up this part where I had a gap in the middle. So you want to just make sure that the center of the screen has a bunch of zooms before you activate the ability, or else your skill will have a really low chain, which means low score and low coins, actually, for the most importantly, because usually for when we play Tsum Tsums, we're after the coins or the fun factor. But Officer Judy is a really fun Tsum, and I only have her at skill level 3. However, I was able to still get 1,839 coins. I'm actually going to skip fully ahead here so that way you can see it at the very end. Now, I bet that if I have Officer Judy at skill level 4, I definitely will be able to earn more coins. So maybe Officer Judy will be more effective at skill level 4. And like I mentioned, I did mess up using Officer Judy in this gameplay. But in the end, again, I got 1,839 coins, which is below the 2,300 threshold that I have on right now. So at skill level 3 for me, Officer Judy wouldn't be an effective coin earner. I think even if I really pushed it, I would probably end up with like 2,000, just barely over 300. So it wouldn't really necessarily be worth it. Alright, now on to Forky. Forky is our fourth Tsum that we're going to cover. I have Forky at skill level 4, and I really like Forky, but really for his animation and also how he reminds me of Toy Story. But that's really about it. Forky is not going to be great for coins, not going to be great for score, but is a really fun Tsum and reminds me of the movie. So if you're into that, maybe get Forky. I really enjoyed Forky when I got him. And take a close look at Forky's facial expression, okay? He has this sad, confused face, but right when you clear him or when he falls into the trash can, he becomes extremely happy. Just like in the movie, Forky really wants to just go into the trash can. So when he jumps into the trash can, he turns his frown upside down. So it's really cool. I like Forky for that reason. And when I played Forky, every time he jumps in the trash can, it made me smile, made me a little bit happy. But if you're playing the game because you want to earn coins or a high score, then really not that great. Forky, I have him at skill level 4, and the time that the animation will last is 6.4 seconds. As you level Forky up to different skill levels, he will get the time will be longer. So if you do max out Forky at skill level 6, you're actually going to get a total of 8 seconds. And every skill level that you go up, you will get 0.8 seconds more. So just a fraction of a second you'll get every single time. So yeah, if you get him to skill level 6, you'll have 8 seconds in total. However, I highly doubt that even at skill level 6, you're gonna get over the 2,300 threshold. So you're probably not gonna necessarily use Forky for coins or for score. But however, like I mentioned, really fun, and I really like Forky because of the aesthetics of Forky. Alright, next we have Monsters University Mike, and that's actually what MU stands for those of you that don't know. MU Mike, the description for his ability is clears a vertical line of Tsum Tsums, and I really like this ability because it kind of reminds me of like the 3 Tritons, and we're actually going to see the Triton come up later. This one you don't necessarily need to plan too much, even though like it's just really hard. You could wait until all the Tsums fall to the ground, which I ended up doing towards the end here. But even if you didn't, it's okay. But if you do wait, you do get a lot more chains and a lot more coins. So early on, the couple of abilities that you saw, I didn't wait for this essentially the Tsums to fall down completely, and I was only in the 20s. Right here, you'll see I'll probably only get in the 20s, so I only got 22 there. So strategically, you do actually want to wait until all the Tsums fall down and all settled on the left, middle, and the right side before you activate the ability to maximize the chain and the combo. And usually what that means is you'll get more coins and also a higher score. But Monsters University Mike is not necessarily the Tsum that you want to use for high score. There are better Tsums out there to get high score, but Monsters University Mike is pretty good for coins. And if you're into that, you definitely should get Monsters University Mike. The skill range does max at XXL, if you do have him at skill level 6. I only have him at skill level 5. I'm going to fast forward to the end here to show you my coins for this particular game. So in the end, I got 2,840 coins for this particular game, and it is over the 2,300 threshold. So Monsters University Mike is a feasible Tsum to use for coin earning. And essentially anything over 2,300, you're just hoping for the coin fairy. Okay, next we have Fix-It Felix Jr. I have Fix-It Felix Jr. at skill level 3. And his ability is chains that you connect are doubled. So essentially, if you connect 3 chains, then it'll become 6. If you do like 5, then it'll become a 10. If you do a 3, it'll become a 6. And also a big magic bubble will occur or show up if you do get I think 7 or more in total. So if you connect a chain of 4 or more, then you'll have a giant bubble show up, kind of like if you made a regular chain. Essentially, it functions the same, but you also get the ability bubble as well. So Fix-It Felix is good in that sense, especially if you are trying to get those specific magic bubbles like a time bubble or ability bubble, and you're trying to like do those bingo missions. Fix-It Felix will be easier if you're trying to particularly get one of those bubbles. There are better Tsums to do that though, but that would be the reason why you would want to get Fix-It Felix, because he's actually not that great. Actually, he's terrible for coins, and he's pretty bad with coin and score as well. So he won't be good for those two. But I mean, Fix-It Felix is actually a pretty big disappointment for me, because I liked all of the Wreck-It Ralph Tsums, and I was hoping that all of them would be really amazing. But unfortunately, Fix-It Felix isn't. But luckily, we had 2 other good ones earlier in the pickup capsule this month. So Fix-It Felix is one you probably don't need. But the cool thing is, like, during his ability, you get all of these cool animations that come around it. So you see the little hammer there on the bottom. It shows you how many more hammers you have left. Typically, you have about 2, and you have more time as you level the skill level up. So in the end, I only got 559 coins, so not worth it for coins. Next, we have Merida. Merida's ability is turns random Tsum Tsum into Will-O-the-Wisp and clears them in one go. And I only have her at skill level 1. However, I really do like the ability. Even at skill level 1, I found it that it was pretty fun to use and pretty feasible. This is actually one that I might want to level up in the future, just because I find it really easy to use, and I'm interested to see if it gets any better, because typically at skill level 1 most of the Tsums aren't that great, but this one is not bad, so I'm just wondering if it's gonna get any better. So what this one does is it does change 13 random Tsums into those little ghostly kind of wisp, and you can just tap on them to clear. If you do max out Merida to skill level 6, it will double the amount of Tsums that it will change. At skill level 6, it does change 26 total Tsums, so it does become pretty good. I suspect that it's not necessarily going to be amazing, but I don't know. I still kind of want to try it just to see. I might decide to just get some selection box now to get her into a higher level, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Even at skill level 1, I was pretty satisfied with the way that it performs. So I do actually recommend getting Merida, and it's one of the, I guess, the funner ones out of all of them from the Brave series, so definitely worth it. I'm gonna skip to the very end here to show you what I earned at skill level 1, and as you can see, I got a total of 954 coins, so definitely not worth it for coin earning at skill level 1. I am using the coin boost as well as the 5-4, so not going to be great for coins at skill level 1, but like I mentioned, I'm enjoying using Merida, so I think I'm just going to play around with her and see if she gets any better at a higher level. Okay, next we have Flynn Rider. So Flynn Rider, the ability description is Rapunzel appears that can be connected to Flynn, which can be cleared for big points. So I really don't like these ones. However, I do like the animation though. I think it's pretty romantic. The ability itself doesn't really earn you a lot of coins. However, if you don't have a Tsum, or if you're playing bingo, and you're trying to clear those bingo cards where you have to summon or use a Sweetheart Calling Tsum, then you might want to get Flynn if you don't already have one. Because Flynn does fall in that category where it does call a Sweetheart and clear a bunch of Tsums. So if you're working on those bingo cards where you need a Tsum for that, Flynn Rider actually isn't too bad, especially if you have him at a pretty high level. He may be good for those particular bingo missions. But outside of that, I don't really see Flynn Rider being that good for coin earning. But for bingos, yes, it's good. For score, if you do it right, then yes, it's also good. But for Flynn, I only have him at level 4 for score wise, so still pretty low level. I think that if I do get him at a higher level, maybe at level 50, he does max out with max score of 953, which is still pretty low. So I don't know. I guess I will try just for the sake of research to see if he's actually good for score. But typically for these Tsums where their ability is to get big points, they're more effective at the higher level. Right now, his score is pretty much just 171, so pretty low. At the end here, as you can see, I only got 855 coins at the end of the game. Not worth it for coins. Score is okay, not too bad for a low level Tsum. Next we have Fairy Godmother, and the description for her is Cinderella's that can be connected with the Fairy Godmother appears. Cinderella also clears surrounding Tsum Tsum. So I actually do enjoy using Fairy Godmother. There is a little bit of a very small learning curve in just using the ability. That first clear was a really good one. I think it's one of the better ones that I had. But ultimately what happens is when you activate Fairy Godmother, Cinderella appears, and it's like a different version of Cinderella. It's not the one that we're used to in the game. The one that we're used to does flash across the screen when you activate her ability. And then it clears a bunch of Tsums, and you get a lot of coins. So the strategy for using this particular Tsum is you definitely want to activate the ability and connect a really long chain like right there and clear a bunch of them across the screen, because they do clear surrounding Tsums as well. So you want to not necessarily like cluster clear them, but really drag it across the screen as much as possible and blow up all the surrounding Tsums. And like you see here, you don't necessarily need to wait to activate the ability. You want to actually just activate it as soon as possible and play fast. And that's really like the strategy for this particular Tsum, is you want to activate the ability as fast as possible and play as fast as you can. And as you level Fairy Godmother up, it will require less Tsums to activate the ability, and also you'll change more Tsums on the screen, so you'll have more Cinderellas. I do have her maxed out at skill level 6 right now, so I only need 16 to activate the ability, and it changes a total of 10 Tsums into Cinderella. If you only have her at skill level 1, you'll require 19 Tsums to activate the ability, and it only changes 5 Tsums, so definitely a significant difference there. In the end, for Fairy Godmother, I got 1,834 coins, so not great for coins, not great for score, so you could probably skip Fairy Godmother, but I do enjoy using Fairy Godmother. I thought it was really a fun Tsum to use. Okay, next we have King Triton. So his description is clears a vertical line of Tsum Tsum, and this one is interesting. I do have him at skill level 6 maxed out. Initially, like typically you want to make sure you have all your Tsums fall down before you activate the ability, but I found it that that's actually not the case for King Triton. As you see in this one, I cleared a total, I got a chain of 27. In the next ability right here, I think I didn't wait and activated it, and check this out, I got a chain of 35. So what that tells me is that the King Triton, the chain, will actually clear a bunch of the Tsums that are on the top of the screen where it's off screen. So you don't necessarily need to wait for the ability to fully for the Tsums to clear and fall down before you activate the ability. You could just spam it and play as fast as you can and clear as many Tsums as you can. This one is, I think this is one of those Tsums where it's like a no-brainer. You just play fast and activate the ability, activate as many abilities as you can. And it's typically, you know, for the most part, I don't play that way. I like to relax and just take my time with it. And I'm not very good, honestly, to spot really long chains and be quick with it. So this Tsum is not the type of Tsum that I typically play. I usually like strategy Tsums, kind of like your Jedi Luke, and also like Gaston. But I really like easy Tsums where you don't have to think, because sometimes I play this game Tsum Tsums while I'm watching TV or listening to music, so I'm not really paying too much attention and really focusing on looking for the longest chain and whatnot. But if you are, King Triton could be one of those Tsums that could be good for you if you're not actively playing, and like you kind of playing like me, you're just kind of not fully focused there. In the end, I got 2,370 coins, just above the threshold of making sense to use it as a coin earner. But there are other Tsums you could use, so I would say pass on King Triton. You're going to be trying to just get the coin boost. Alright, next we have Blue Fairy. Blue Fairy is one of those secret ones. I am actually still learning to use Blue Fairy, so this gameplay here that you're watching, I would say like it's not necessarily going to be the best gameplay that you could see online or anywhere. This Blue Fairy does require some patience and learning to use, and that's the reason why I don't necessarily like Blue Fairy, because you have to take the time to learn and strategize and really prepare and line things up, whereas there are other Tsums out there that you could use to earn more coins. But out of the entire box, Blue Fairy, technically if you play her right, could earn you the most coins. So this is kind of one of those where if you invest the time to learn how to use the Tsum properly, this Tsum is going to be the best coin earner in this selection box. However, the easiest no-brainer where you could just keep playing and not have to practice all the time to maximize your coin earning potential, then the first three, as advertised, would be the better one. So there are a couple of good ones in here. Blue Fairy is one of them. I have her maxed out at skill level 6. You'll need 20 Tsums to activate the ability and 7 seconds of total ability time. And her ability essentially is magic bubbles will appear even if you connect very short chains, even at 3. However, if you connect really long chains, like a chain of 7 or more, the bubble will be bigger. The chains where you connect with only 3 Tsums are smaller. And essentially the strategy here is you want to make as many of these little blue bubbles across the screen as you can, and then burst the biggest one that you see. And what it should do is it should connect a really long chain as it bursts, because the burst will burst surrounding Tsums as well. And during this burst surrounding Tsums, it will clear your entire screen if you line them up properly. Like improperly will be like that you just saw there, where it wasn't lined up all the way across the screen. You'll probably need to scroll back and watch this video a couple more times for this section if you are trying to invest in Blue Fairy and how to use them. I only got 2,585 coins, but if you play right, you could probably end up in the 4,000s. Okay, the last Tsum that we have here is Clarice. Clarice will turn an entire row into Chippendale Tsums that can be cleared with Clarice. So similar to another one we saw earlier, similar to Flynn Rider, Clarice will essentially get some Chippendales show up on the screen, and you could connect all of them as a combo. So the strategy for this one is you want to make sure the center of the screen is full of Tsums, because that's where it's going to turn a bunch of Tsums into Chippendale. So you want to just make sure that there's enough Tsums in the middle, and then activate the ability, and you could connect for long chains. Like I mentioned before, these are not the Tsums that I like to use. These collect for long chains or big points. Not really my type. I really like Tsums that earns a lot of coins. So for that reason, I would say pass on Clarice. Not really one of the ones that I really like for this game. However, surprisingly though, for a Tsum that connects long chains, I was able to get Clarice a total of 1,112 coins. It's still below the 2,300, but I'm still pretty surprised because typically I get under 1,000 for these connect for long chains. But anyways, so that's pretty much it for this particular selection box. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and we're heading towards the end of the month here, so I'm about to work on the next leak video. So if you would like to see what the Tsums that we're going to have for next month before they come out, don't forget to scroll down, hit the subscribe button, and also give this video a thumbs up, and stay tuned. I'll be showing you what's to come for next month. Alright, hope you guys enjoy this video, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.